the atmosphere in this room, I can just feel the group is bonded, that there is life, there is color, there is creativity. I mean, just we are filming the food here just for the Diwali party and the range of food and the different types. It's just unbelievable. You know, one of the things about food, actually I never saw it that way. You know, if you think of a Rangoli painting, right? When we do a Rangoli, whoever is the artist, you know, it's not something that you can freeze and frame, right? It's a temporary form of art, and then it gets rubbed off. So there, the desire is not to make the object and to frame it, but to actually just express happiness, beauty, and there is no desire to have the ego attached to the art. Now, you know, in a way, the same thing applies to food. You know, when women cook beautiful food and just share it and offer it, what their values, if you look at the ethics underlying it, you know, the values, the principles are, there is no name on any of these plates that I made this, I made that. The principles are sharing, the principles are also feeding, you know. I mean, one of the stories, and I'll connect, I mean, the principles are just to serve, and humility as well, you know, because there's no ego, no pride, you know, and it's giving as well, it's almost unconditional giving. I mean, these are the very principles this country needs desperately, the whole country, not just this room, the whole country needs it. And guess what? Does the country come and consult you about these values? Does it ask you, can you show us the way? Can you show us how to live in a harmonious way? How to eat healthy food, how to cook healthy food? Very little, I'm sorry to say. And that's why I am here. I'm going all around the country on a Masala tour of Britain to bring out the story of India in Britain. And not just bring out the story as in there's a group of ladies who meet in Peterborough and have lunch together. No, the story as in what I just said, the values, the principles. And these are values which are not in a textbook. They are not in a library somewhere. They are not in a professor's theory, right? These are values which you are living here and now in 2010 in Britain. So these are real values. And this is not something any society can manufacture. Britain has it in its heart. This is the center of Britain. This is Peterborough. But you go anywhere. I was in Birmingham before I came here. You know, we went to the Sikh Langar, the Gurudwara, we went to the Balaji temple. Everywhere food is free, food is shared, food is seen as an offering, yeah? And food is a way of bringing people together. Food is a way of cultivating relationships, yeah? So, what I want to do through this tour and what we will be doing as we travel, we are filming as we travel, and we are putting these films onto the YouTube on computer so that the whole world can see what is really happening in the grassroots of Britain. You know, now if you look at a newspaper or television, it's full of celebrities, it's full of murder, crime, war, yeah, but these positive stories, these day-to-day stories of how we build peace. You know, peace cannot be built, you know, by a formula, magic formula. It has to be done patiently, slowly, daily. You know, I mean, just looking at some of your dress, I can see that you are not all from the same parts of India, you know, but you are still coming together as one. India is not one country, it's actually many countries, but then we are also not one people, we are many people. So what? Just because we are different, actually because we are different, we create the mosaic. We can learn from each other. We don't need to be threatened by difference, yeah? And also, leadership, and this is the area which I really work on. Leadership is very important in whatever we do, because it's our leaders who dictate, who have a hand on our future, who shape our education, who influence our media and our communication. And those leaders need to have the kinds of values that you have. Otherwise, if leaders talk something and do something else, then that's the kind of society we'll create, where people say something and do something else. And that is really a big problem for society. So when we go around on this tour, we are collecting all kinds of stories, real stories, communities, festivals. We did a film on the Chopra Pujan, some of you may know,
Yes.
during Diwali. Now, when this country has got a big crisis about business ethics, right? And here is an ancient ritual and way of practicing good business ethics, in business. And when we pray to Lakshmi, we are actually asking the goddess not just for success and wealth, but also for empowerment to do good for society. To be able to use our surplus profits to improve society and help others. Now that ritual is alive, is being practiced here, but it need not stay in that community. It can go out. The spirit of it can go out. If people don't want to use Goddess Lakshmi, they can still come together and make a commitment at the beginning of the new year, saying that we as a group of businessmen agree today that we will work together, we will cooperate with one another, and when we have excess profits, we will use it for a better society. You can take that principle out and transport it to the whole of Britain. You can take this recipe out of healthy diet and transport it to the whole of Britain. We don't want copyright. I'm here on this Masala tool to give the copyright away. Copy us, but also don't treat us as stupid or unintelligent or ignorant or somebody to be tolerated, because we actually come from one of the oldest living cultures on this planet. And this culture is vast, it is complex, it is rich, and its wisdom has stood the test of time. हमारा जो धर्म में जो सिद्धांत जो है ना, उन्हें सारी जिंदगी कितने हजारों साल जिए इसके लिए कि हमको आज भी उसका रेलेवेंस मिल सकता है, क्योंकि लिए वो सिद्धांत टाइम ने उसका टेस्ट किया है, उनकी टेस्ट किया है, और फिर उसके बाद अभी भी जीता है इसके लिए कि हम उसका लाभ ले सके, और वो मैसेज है उसमें. Or those are the messages for the economic recession, those are the messages for the health, those are the messages for a cohesive society. It is remarkable the work Suchitra is doing here in this town. Just listening to her stories, how one woman here is really building so many bridges. Everywhere she's building bridges. And she doesn't even make a big fuss about it. She's not even saying that I want to be chief executive or I want to be director. She's doing it quietly. She's doing it with passion, and she's bringing groups together. And that is the skill this country has. But very often I see this skill being marginalized. I see this skill being ghettoized. Ghettoized meaning, you Indians, you eat with your hands and fingers, keep it to yourself. Or you see the other side, where I want the takeaway curry, but I don't want the Indians who make it. So you see all kinds of issues, and this is where we cannot also be quiet all the time. At the very least, we should tell the nation what we are doing as citizens of this country. Because if you weren't here today, if Maz had not organized your group so well and brought you together, maybe some of you may have become depressed, and with depression, then you become a cost to the nation. You start, the NHS starts to pick up a bill as a result, and not only that, it becomes also a problem for the family. There is actually no cure for many of these things. All you get is more and more medicines and all kinds. So your mental health is being really improved and sustained by this group, by you coming together and sharing your experiences and your culture. So these are the positive stories. These are the stories which we want to share. We want, organizations to respect the preventative work which people are doing.